headed to our first sailing lesson, and we're super excited. We signed up with the Bonneville Sailing, right? What's it called?
Bonneville School of Sailing.
In Provo, and we're going to sail on the Utah Lake. This is day one. We have a 3-week class for the
basic learn to sail class.
Yeah, it's our first of 3. Then there's an intermediate and an advanced. So,
getting our feet wet finally. Ready to go.
Step 1. I'm so excited. We've been doing courses online that they provided us. I didn't get to finish mine, but you finished module 1, right? Yeah.
A lot of information, a lot of learning to do.
Lots of definitions and different moving pieces, but I think once we get on the boat, we'll be able to understand a little better when we have our hands on the ropes or the sheets.
Our hands are going to be on all kinds of stuff.
I know, it's going to be pumped. I'm pumped. It's going to be exciting. And then we also bought a bunch of books. We bought Sailing for Dummies. That actually is super informative. We've been reading that out loud and going over vocabulary terms together. There's a lot of diagrams and stuff, so I think that'll help us out at least. Yeah.
Yep, we're ready to go. Adventure starts here.
Crank up the keel, which we are going to need to do today because the lake is very low. It's very shallow to start with, so in this drought, it's really, really low.
Well, we just got back from our first ever sailing lesson.
It's fun, adventurous.
Shit.
Got wild out there.
Shit got a little hairy. She taught us all of the names of parts of stuff before we set off, before we left the dock. But me and Cece had prepared really well before, so we were familiar with a lot of the vocab and a lot of the pieces.
We did our homework, so we were prepared.
Lots of information. It's got diagrams that show you all the stuff, which helped prepare us immensely. Just knowing what things are called before you get out there is just very helpful. So then we left the dock and used the motor to get out into the actual, out of the harbor or the marina, right? Then we sat and talked about more parts of the boat because we were dead in the water. There was no wind. Yeah, we were just dead in the water. There was no wind anywhere. So we just sat there for like, what, an hour talking about... Yeah. She's teaching us still.
It's educational.
Yeah.
Might as well learn some stuff while we're just hanging out.
And it was kind of cool just being out on the boat knowing, and she was saying over and over, like, this is sailing. You can't control the wind, so this is part of it. Oh, I almost forgot. Before we took off from the marina, I almost forgot, from the dock, they gave us little binders with our curriculum, and I was tickled pink because the very front says, "Now bring me that horizon." Captain Jack Sparrow quote. So now we have our homework for tonight, which is parts of the sailboat.
After sitting dead in the water, we picked up some wind and started learning how to tack, which is important. One of the first maneuvers you want to learn is tacking in case somebody falls overboard. That's how you will basically get them out of the water, is by tacking.
Yeah, and that's also how you sail towards the wind. So obviously you can't sail directly on. So you tack this way, you catch the wind, tack this way, go that way a little bit, tack. So that's how you would get from like point A to point B if the wind were straight on. Then we were keeping our eye on the distance because there was a storm. The clouds were super dark.
Yeah, there was a little rainstorm coming in. A little afternoon shower here in Utah.
Yep, which you guys will obviously see because I'll be putting that in the video. But then
the wind it was just like a light got turned on. Just the light switch turned on and a big gust of wind came through and we started tipping and we had to make some maneuvers, start pulling the sails down so that we wouldn't tip over. Waves got pretty tall, maybe 2-3 feet tall. So it was pretty exciting.
We're only 4 feet out of the water, so it seemed really big.
So that was exciting. The other boat that went out, there's 2 boats teaching the class. The other boat, what's it called? The gooseneck?
Yeah.
Broke off. The hinge that connects the mast to the beam. Or the boom.
Boom.
The boom. That broke on the other boat, so they had some issues.
They took on water.
Yeah,
a lot
they took
of water.
on water. So I'm sure it was even more exciting to be on that boat for the day, but I'm
happy with what
with what we got.
She was really happy with our behavior. All 3 of us, we had, shout out to Matt. He's one of our classmates, the only other classmate. And she said we were grade A students, that we all stayed really calm, and Matt went and grabbed the sail. I started tying it together, tying it down, just like all instincts. All 3 of us just knew what to do. Cece was the helmsman, so he had to stay steering. But every time Cece got on the tiller, I swear another microburst would come and we would be tipped over again.
It's Mother Nature making sure I'm being tested and prepared.
So
any endeavor.
It was awesome though, right? Don't you think?
It was fun, yeah. It was a blast. Excited for Thursday's class. Be a little more familiar, a little more confident going in, ready for anything. So
tomorrow night we'll probably read a couple more chapters, do our assignment in preparation for Thursday. Because Tuesdays and Thursdays, right now is a Tuesday. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but so we'll have Wednesday to prep a little more.
There's a couple rainbows out tonight. It was beautiful.
Full rainbows, vibrant too, huh?
Very
Good point.
vibrant.
Kept pointing them out. We had a double one at one point.
So, I think we got a picture of one, no?
We got some video when we were dead in the water again, and all of us pulled out of our electronics and like started taking pictures and videos. So I only got that footage. So it's probably gonna be a short video except for our chatty bit, but yeah, I got some of the rainbow. Not as much as I would have liked, but there's some good peaceful footage pieces, I think.
Yeah.
I think we'll be able to look back on and be like, yeah.
Okay. Then we learned what reefing was.
Oh yeah.
Which is basically only part of your sail is up while it's super windy.
Had to learn that quick.
We learned about wind direction and the different directions of the boat in correlation with the boat.
Oh yeah, this is interesting. I forgot about that.
The beam, what is it called again? The beam reach and the
beam reach.
close haul.
So, if the wind is coming at you this way, this is no wind. This is where you want to be to like raise and lower your sails. This is where your sails are kind of luffing, which means flapping around. And then each way, so these are going to be your fastest points. This is a little less fast, etc., until actually the wind at your back is the slowest, which when you're a kid and you think like, doesn't it make more sense if the wind's behind you, you go faster with open sails, but I guess not.
Yeah.
It's close hauls that were the fastest. We learned how to use a Windex. Yeah.
Very informational day, a lot of words and vocabulary, and just got thrown right into it. So I would say it was very educational. Learned a lot. We're on a good track. Starting off on a good note.
And we loved it,
so,
which we always knew we would.
Yeah.
So that was our first time officially having the lines in our hands and actually sailing. We've been on sailboats, did our sail in Monterey even, but...
We've tampered, but never actually got to get hands-on, so yeah, it's good.
Yep.
Yeah. Basically it.
I'd say.
Cheers to our new adventure.
And we hope you join us along the way. Ooh. Get cracking.
All right, here we are prepping the boat for our lovely afternoon sail here on Utah Lake. Clear blue skies, pretty decent winds today. Here me and Matt are removing the mainsail cover. Usually you want to fold this up nice and neat so it's a lot easier to install at the end of the day. Keep it nice and tidy and clean instead of wadded up in a messy ball. Usually made of a thick canvas material.
And the cover just protects the sail from any sun exposure and any wind and all of that. There's Cece storing it in the cockpit locker. And removing the tiller cover. Now Matt's headed up to grab the jib and being a goof on the way.
It was a little bit of a windier day, so I think we decided to go with a 70% jib.
And that's Matt testing the winds. That's the correct way to do it.
Jibs are usually rated in a percentile. Most days we would sail with a 110 jib on a lighter wind day. Today was a little windier, so we decided to downsize to the 70% jib. Basically, it's just a smaller sail, which means it'll provide less power out on the lake in this case. That is the halyard that we are connecting to the bow poppet.
Just to keep it from like flapping around and causing any mayhem or issues.
So Matt just finished hooking up the tack to the forestay fitting. Here we are hooking up the leech part of the jib to the forestay. Now the boys are taking the clue of the jib
back towards the jib sheets so that they can attach the sheets to the jib itself. And it looks like it's wrapped around a winch, so I'm just loosening that so that they can have a little bit more movement with that and get it hooked up correctly.
On this particular boat, there was a bungee placed so you can basically prepare the jib and throw the bungee over the jib to secure it so that you can prep the jib while you're at the dock, and then it can stay secured close to the deck so you can motor out and then remove the bungee and raise your jib.
I'm just showing you all of the connections that we just completed, and now gonna head on and board the boat. That's me dropping my camera in my attempt to reach the lifeline so that I can secure the lifeline opening.
This boat is equipped with a swinging keel or a swing keel. So basically I'm getting ready to raise the keel up so that we can motor out of the harbor so that the keel doesn't drag against the bottom. So we just raised the keel. We're getting ready to back the boat off the dock.
Oh look, I've made an appearance. And we are releasing the dock line. Oops. And I drop the dock line into the water, pull it out, and throw it onto the deck. Here I'm just showing you some clutches. So that's our reef clutch and the main clutch on this boat. Headed out to open water. Oh, so the way you wrap a winch would not be counterclockwise. You want to wrap it clockwise, and that's just me giving an example of how that would look. Here's the standing rigging. So those two bars that are standing left and right of the mast are called the spreaders, and then those are attached to the shrouds or the side stays. And we already talked about the forestay there, which is what the jib's attached to.
That's the one that goes to the bow of the boat.
It was really lots of waves that day due to the wind, so we were using our knees as some suspension.
As a reminder, we kept the keel tool inserted to raise and lower it once we got out. So we left that in place so that we remembered to lower it. And so I just hop back down to lower the keel so we can prepare to sail. Here we are unclipping the main sail, getting ready to raise it.
Cece's just releasing the boom now and telling me to be careful and not fall overboard and laughing at me because I tripped. Okay, the boys are now preparing to raise that mainsail. And Cece's at the front guiding that up so that they don't get caught.
Like we said earlier, it was a little bit of a windier day. You can kind of see the waves on Utah Lake and the boat bouncing up and down. We decided we should reef the main to go with our 70% jib that day, so we didn't raise the main all the way up. On this particular boat, there was 3 reef lines that needed to be tied, so right now I'm tying those. There's Matt tightening the main sail, eliminating any slack after we've got some of the reef lines tied. This particular sail, you can see that there is 2 reef points. We decided to go with the first one to start. If we needed to reef it more, we could always lower the main and go with the secondary reef point.
There I am headed. There I am headed forward onto the bow so that I can get that jib prepared. Right now I'm just removing the bungee that Cece talked about earlier so that we can get that jib raised. Trying not to fall overboard in the process. Up at the bow it's real bouncy, so I was actually having a lot of fun up there, but it's got some danger to it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and raise that jib using the halyard. Oh yeah, look at that jib being raised. Normally if the wind is putting a lot of pressure on your sail and you can't quite raise it all the way up, you can wrap it around a winch, not around your hand like I did. Never do that. That is extremely dangerous. It can cause injury to your hand. So definitely use a winch if you need more power behind that. Oh, tell them about the whales. The Utah Lake whales. That day we were having a lot of and we were like, what the heck is that? And in the end, because the lake was so shallow,
Oh yeah.
it was the keel.
The keel was touching the bottom of the lake. Utah Lake's a very shallow lake, so that we were dragging the keel and it was making a noise that sounded like a whale. So
Melanie was talking about, oh, you don't know about the Utah Lake whales? And we were having a good laugh about that. I think it was just sandbars, but it was really just persistent groaning.
So that was me hopping down, raising the keel up a couple turns.
Nice, Cece. Loser. So it looks like I'm just moving the tiller around a bunch, but that's because of the waves and everything. You have to keep the it's a lot harder than it looks to keep that tiller going at the straight line.
Yeah, when you're going up and down the waves, you have to adjust the tiller
Yeah,
to
it looks
keep
like
you in the right point of sail.
looks like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just wiggling the tiller around, but I promise I had us on a good.
Kind of don't. But
Hi guys, I'm just sitting here editing our first sailing video to share with you, and as I'm sitting here I'm realizing that we haven't told you the next steps. So I'm here to tell you that we are actually headed in less than 5 days out to Tacoma, Washington to take our ASA 103 and 104 combined courses on an actual sailboat on the actual ocean. So we're going to be on the sailboat for 4 nights, 5 days, the whole time learning all of this new stuff that we have yet to learn, perfecting the things that we have learned, and also during that time we'll be taking our ASA 101 certification as well, so that we can be certified in all 3 with the American Sailing Association. We're super excited about it. It's coming up so fast. I can't believe how quickly it came up. And when we get back, we're gonna take some time, just like we did in this video that you're watching, and we're gonna debrief on all of the things that we learned while we were out there. It's gonna be kind of crazy. We have all of our gear ready. We bought foul weather gear, just in case it gets crazy and stormy out there, but we'll see what happens, and at least we're prepared. If you guys have enjoyed watching us so far and you want to continue with us on our sailing journey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and we'll continue posting.